Hello, everybody. Jonathan Roberts here, Director of External Affairs at the CLA. I'm joined by Susan Twining, our Land Use Chief, and of course, our President, Victoria Vyvyan. Another day, another big Treasury event in Parliament, as Rachel Reeves has been announcing the spending review for the next 3 years. It's a day that we've been working towards at the CLA for some time with our own submissions on what we think the Treasury should be doing and lobbying of parliamentarians, ministers, civil servants as well. We've also been leading a coalition of other industry groups in reminding government of the importance, particularly of things like agri-environment schemes, which are only just up and running in their current tranche and seem to be by and large working very well, but that needs money. And that's really what a spending review is all about. So, Susan, I'm going to come to you first. What do you make of it all?
Well, considering what we were expecting, it feels like a lot of good news, really. The headline is that there's a 2.7 billion annual budget for nature and farming. Now, what that's made up of is 2.3 billion a year for the farming budget, or what we've known as the agriculture budget in the past, that will cover things such as the environmental land management scheme and the productivity schemes. So 2.3 billion is slightly less than we've had in the last couple of years, but considering the mood music from Treasury, then that seems like quite good news in some respects. The other 0.4 million is the money that has previously been under the Climate for Nature Fund, the Nature for Climate Fund, and there's another 400 million there, so that will go to support tree planting and peatland restoration. Within the farming budget, the agriculture budget, as we know it, the 2.3 billion, there's an expectation that the government over the 3-year spending review period, that up to 2 billion of that will go towards the ELM schemes. So that will be a rising amount of money going into the ELM scheme, up to 2 billion by 2028-29. And that's good news. We've been long-term supporters of ELMs, and we're looking at, we were wanting strong funding for SFI, the Sustainable Farming Incentive, the Countryside Stewardship Scheme, and for landscape recovery. So that seems to be in place. I think there might be a slight casualty in the productivity schemes, because the budget for that is likely to be slightly less. It was 400 million a year in the last couple of years, and that's going to be slightly less at sort of around about 350 million, and we might see that decline a little over the 3-year spending period.
Victoria, are we in the unusual position of breathing a sigh of relief?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I was dreading this spending review, partly because everybody was telling us to dread the spending review. Everybody, except perhaps the ministers, who've been extremely quiet about it, but from every side, 15%, 20% cuts. So although this is a real terms cut, because it doesn't take into account inflation and so on, I'm gonna call this a win. I'm going to call this a win, and I'm going to call it as well for the CLA, having lobbied right up to the wire on this one. Even when we were hearing slightly more positive news about it, we didn't let up bombarding, really, DEFRA and everybody with what we thought would be the outcomes for nature and for agriculture if the budget was cut.
And you were with Steve Reed last week at the Royal Cornwall Show. You've just come off a call with Daniel Zeichner, the farming minister. And what do you think of where they are at the moment? Are they feeling quite chipper? Are they feeling like job well done? Or I've almost wondered whether they've been a bit nervous of the farming sector's reaction?
Well, it's been a bit of a bloodbath of a year. So I think they would be feeling a little bit previous if we turned on the screen and discovered them capering around the room. So I think they were taking it pretty seriously. I think the cuts that Susan's already thinks we might have identified in productivity grants, I think the farming minister was already saying to keep this budget, there have had to be some sacrifices. And I'm wondering, although we haven't heard the specifics about it, so we'll have to watch that space, whether that might include an increased speed of ending BPS as well. So I think there will be some financial casualties in this, But in general, quite a relief. And the other part, which I think I must raise for our members, is that the tree budget has been maintained. UCO is safe in the medium term. So for those people who were very worried about going out and making tree creation offer applications, they're now almost being given the red light to go ahead and do that.
And Susan, in many ways, one set of hard work is now complete, but the next bit of hard work is about to start, because we've got to make sure that we get bang for our buck here, particularly with a bit less money kicking around. Talk us through the sort of engagement you can expect the CLA to have with government as new schemes are brought along and as they figure out how to spend this money they've been given.
Well, I mean, the work has already started. We've already been engaging with them on the sustainable farming incentive and the reboot of that scheme. And I think that work will continue. There's a lot of work still to be done on that scheme, looking at how to deliver value for money for the taxpayer, and to really be able to demonstrate at the end of this 3-year period, we need to be able to demonstrate that this money is well spent. So it is imperative for all people who are going into these schemes to make sure they deliver it well. Now, part of that is in scheme design. That'll be about, maybe there'll be slightly fewer options available in sustainable farming incentive. It might be about a little bit more targeting or some limitations on some of the actions. But broadly speaking, our aim will be to try and ensure that there's something for everybody in there, and that we will maximise the value to the taxpayer, but also to the rural businesses that we're working for.
Thank you very much.
Victoria. I think it'd be fair to add that that Daniel's Ashner gave the impression that they feel warmly towards grant aiding capacity, things that will build capacity into our businesses. So I think we might expect to see a little bit more on that side, which probably means a little bit less on the sort of income support side. We'll have to see. I think we're going to get the next set of news very quickly, though. I think the Minister was talking about tomorrow, wasn't he, Susan?
That's
yes.
Right.
So we'll look forward to hearing the details.
And I can't help but think there might be something coming in groundswell as well, because ministers are turning up for that, and they've had it in the neck recently for not turning up to many shows. So we'll see what happens there. Victoria, Susan, thank you very much. And for members watching this, please do keep an eye on the website and our other standard forms of communication. We've got loads more analysis on the spending review and what it means for you. And as always, if you want to know anything more, do contact your regional office, and we will help as best as we can, help you interpret all this and understand what it means on your farm and in your business. Thanks very much.
Thank you.